Let me start this video off by saying that I in no way endorse what the men featured in this television show did. They are horrible, ruthless savages who don't deserve to be on this earth, and I for one welcome the idea of a show based entirely around mocking their entire existence. I have nothing but respect for Chris Hansen and his crew, as well as nothing but sympathy for the young men and women who these men have defiled. It's important to remember that for every predator featured on this show and its spiritual successors, there's 100 others still walking the streets, and I don't want to make it seem through this video that I'm glorifying what they attempted to do. With that being said, here's how you can get away with being a pedophile.
Getting shit, bitch!
Okay, I think this video deserves a bit of a longer preamble because that sounds very bad. Like already getting the ukulele out for the apology video kind of bad. So before anyone gets it twisted, I gotta reiterate, I am not a pedophile.
You're the guy literally calling yourself Dity?
I don't even have a retort for that, to be honest. To Catch a Predator is a show that I'm sure needs no introduction, but I'll give the TLDR. Chris Hansen, in association with a team called Perverted Justice, yes, that's actually their name, pretend to be young girls online, luring middle-aged men to nice, white suburban houses where Chris promptly walks into the room, reads their fake chat logs, watches the predator stumble over their own words, and after which, they're promptly arrested. Obviously, there's some variation to this sequence of events. For example, some episodes are more about the true crime aspect of it all, so they don't even show an arrest. These are the lame ones, by the way. And in others, the predator might do some wild shit, like bring their own son to the Stinghouse, or get naked to try to fuck the decoy's cat. The process of catching predators is fun and all, but we all know the real meat and potatoes of this show is Chris Hansen and the hot seat. You watch it to see Chris very casually and calmly rip these guys some new assholes and watch their life melt before their eyes in these iconic one-on-one interviews. This is where the concept of the video comes in. Could you theoretically, hypothetically, and purely in a fictional sense walk out of the Chris Hansen Stinghouse as a predator without getting arrested in Minecraft? Look, I can't be the only one who's thought about this, right? The hot seat with Chris Hansen is probably the most inescapable position you could ever put a man in. The evidence is piled against you, there's police outside, and everything you're saying is being recorded. The only way to get out is to be one smooth fucking operator, and even then, you gotta tell some really smart lies. So what are the strats? What are some of the game plans? How would you beat To Catch a Predator? As previously established, this is your boy Dity, and welcome back to another episode of Dity Minis, a show where I talk about pieces of media I find kind of interesting. Holy shit, it's the IRS! I heard you was talking shit. Oh, thank fuck, it's just you. Hey, listen man, this is all just me being hypothetical, okay? I promise I'm not advocating for pedophilia. Isn't your name literally Dity? Yes, yeah, we've been over this, okay? Yes, it's Dity with a T, like commodity. Right. I'm just saying it's a little weird to have such a similar name. Do you have a warrant? I should get going. I've gotta get a fucking lock on my door. In this purely hypothetical, theoretical, make-believe, hoo-ha situation in which you need to quote-unquote beat To Catch a Predator, I've stretched my little noodle far and wide to devise some strategies that'll get you out of the hot seat. I put them in separate categories depending on when they're applicable. We have strategies that you can use while being in the online chat room, strategies you can use just outside the Stinghouse, strategies you can use while entering the Stinghouse, and finally, for when you really need to get out of that situation, we have strategies for the hot seat. So, without further ado, let's go over them one by one, starting with... I wear masks with a smile for hours at a time. Okay, so this section is for when you're in the chat room with the decoy and you know for a fact it's Chris Hansen. This section is basically like ultimate prep time, so you can say whatever you want to say in the chat room and it won't come up in your logs. Stare at the ceiling while I hold back what's on my mind. This one only works if you have glasses or are just clinically proven to have bad eyesight. In an episode of Takedown called Daryl's Pack and Heat, The predator's defense for getting out of the hot seat was that he didn't see that the decoy was 15. This has been used as a last-minute defense time and time again by various predators across the series, but what makes Daryl so different is that not only does the decoy send only one text, but Daryl needs glasses as well. The cops behind the investigation failed to fully confirm the age of their fake teenage girl, and thus a lot of people weren't fully convinced that the man named Daryl they saw in the episode was actually a predator, making his case a bit of a rarity compared to the thousands of other predators Chris Hansen has caught. Now, what do I think? Personally, I think he's full of shit. However, I'd be lying if I said this wasn't a rock-solid strategy using the tools available to him. That's the kind of defense that will hold up in court as long as he sticks to that alibi. The only reason I didn't put this method into the hot seat section, however, is because it's situational. The text decoy needs to do a sloppy job, and you need to capitalize on that. This defense wouldn't really work if the decoy confirms multiple times that they're underage, especially if you talk on the phone with them.
And I like how you're at least 18 years old.
Actually,
I like how you're at least 18 years old.
And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine.
This one's pretty self-explanatory. Fake name, fake hobbies, fake goals, fake way of speaking, fake way of typing. If they call you, put on a silly, fake-sounding voice, you know, shit like that. The part that's imperative, though, is using a VPN. You gotta use a VPN while you're doing this, otherwise they'll be able to trace your IP.
And this is where I'd put my NordVPN sponsor segment. If I had one!
So then you show up, you come inside, and then you know the decoy will probably be a little confused because you don't match the description and all that. Chris Hansen shows up with the chat log and everything, but all you need to do here is deny. You look at the paper and say, that's not me.
That's not me. That's not you? Nope.
And you're not technically wrong, because it isn't you. It's some random guy that you found on Google Images. You're in the clear. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Commodity, you still technically enter the house, which is true. So what you gotta do is you gotta make sure the decoy invites you inside. Then you gotta make sure that she doesn't say her age. For this one, you probably still end up on TV, but you're gonna avoid jail time, probably. Don't quote me on that.
And when they ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm just fine.
This section is for when you basically get past the online chat room section, but you don't realize that it's a decoy right away, so you have time to prep an alibi or some kind of excuse after the fact.
I can never get off of my mattress.
Okay, so there's two different versions of the pedophile for Clout method, but I basically lumped them together because they're so similar. So basically, one of them is that immediately before you enter the Stinghouse, you got to take out your phone and start recording. All right, you just gotta go, Chris Hansen, I know you're here, right? Just completely ignoring the decoy as you walk past, right? Then Chris will come out and he's probably gonna be mad that you wasted his time, but he's gonna pop out, he's gonna be like, what are you doing here? And that's when you hit him with I'm a huge fan, Chris. I watch all your TV shows. I just wanted to meet you. I knew it'd be you. Now, some of you might be saying,
hey, Commodity, what the hell? You're just stealing that one idea Moist Critical had.
And to that, I say, hand over heart, I swear to God. I just did the Elon salute without thinking. I had the idea for this strat before this video and before he thought of that. I don't have any proof, so you gotta just take your boy's word. But yeah, officially laying claim to this strat. Sorry, Charlie.
I don't really watch Commodity all that much, but I gotta tell you, this video is poopy caca doo-doo.
The other version of this strategy involves getting a couple friends together, right? Okay, so basically you get like a whole camera crew together, boom mic and everything. You pull up to the house, you open the door, then you start recording everything. But then the police will probably intercept that and be like, what are you guys doing? That's when you hit them with the, what are you guys doing? We're filming an informative YouTube prank about teens who try to hook up with grown men for sex. Boom! This one's particularly good because you walk out of it literally looking like a good Samaritan.
And all that they can ask is...
This method is particularly special. The Tagalong Method is the only method on this list that actually worked. I'll give you the rundown. So basically, an episode of TCAP featured a guy named Sebastian Rodriguez. But what was unique about this episode is that Sebastian brought his friend. You can see where this is going, right? To my knowledge, Sebastian's friend is the only person in the history of publicized Chris Hansen investigations to ever be interviewed in the hot seat and walk away scot-free. Now, I'm not gonna come out right and call this dude a pedophile. All I'm saying is that if he was, this was kind of high IQ. Basically, instead of making your profile yourself, you just wait until your friend makes one and then ask if you can tag along. Boom. Simple as that. Then when you get caught, just deny, deny, deny.
Why are you so sad, kid?
Basically, you want to pull up in a fast car. You'll also need some method of leaving the country, whether it be legally or illegally. Leave your keys in the ignition. Walk in, get to the hot seat, and from here you can just say anything, doesn't matter. Soon as the interview finishes, book it to your car, slide across the hood, and drive off. Just go, right? You're gonna get in a high-speed police chase. From here, it's much less of a mental challenge and more of a physical one. You gotta outrun the cops. It's not as though it'd be an impossible task, especially if it's in one of the Bible Belt or cornfield states, but this is definitely one of the less achievable strategies on this list. Nevertheless, it's still theoretically doable, albeit very, very difficult, and you're probably not gonna have a very fun life afterwards.
That's what the mask is.
Next up, we have the strategies for you to use when you're entering the Stinghouse and you're starting to suspect something's up. Maybe it's the decoy,
Me, my mommy, and my daddy.
not being the best actor in the world, or maybe you just kind of get that weird feeling on the back of your head that something's not right.
That's what the point of the mask is.
Okay, so admittedly, this one won't get you out of a jail sentence, but it might prevent the footage from airing on TV because it'll basically make the footage unusable. Okay, so essentially what you gotta do is that as soon as you enter the Stinghouse, you gotta just nonchalantly pull out your phone in front of the decoy, like in a casual way, so that she doesn't think you're pulling out a knife or a gun or whatever, right? After that, you're just gonna put your phone up to full volume and start playing the most copyrightable songs that you can find, right? The worst radio hits ever. Like the type that you can't even play 5 seconds of in a YouTube video. After that, you can combine this method with other strategies like saying a bunch of slurs and stuff that the editor would need to bleep out. And basically the goal of this method is just making the audio unusable or needing to be so heavily edited that the editor just won't even bother trying to make it safe to air. This one's pretty simple. So you walk in, see the decoy, you start to immediately suspect that you're part of a sting. This is when you hit him with the question. Where your mom at? And the decoy will probably say something along the lines of, oh, well, my mom's not home. That's when you gotta hit him with the most disappointing stare you've ever given another human being. And you gotta say, that's too bad. When'll she be back? Essentially, the goal of this method is to make it seem like you were lying about being a pedophile to get with the decoy's mom. You gotta be extremely careful though, because if Chris comes out before you can fully convey your disappointment, you're fucking cooked.
What's your plan for tonight?
Well, my plan was, I actually was trying to get the mother, but
You're trying to what?
get the mother. Yes.
Oh, you want the mother?
I was trying to get to the mother, and oh my god, I'm so in trouble. I wanted to get the mother.
The mother. So when you say I wanted to get the mother, what did you mean?
I want to get the mother. 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 Oh my god. I wanted to be the mother. Come
Okay,
on.
but you're talking.
But I just wanted the mother.
These are the strategies you only bust out when you're at the absolute worst possible scenario for any man to be in. The hot seat with Chris Hansen, your chat logs, and multiple cameras pointed at your face recording your every move. What do you do? Usually, the hot seat is set in the kitchen. Take a knife, go over, stab yourself with it, and die. This might not seem like a victory at first, but if you think about it, you hit all marks with it. You avoid jail time and you kill a pedophile, so honestly, it's kind of a net positive. This one's a little stupid. For this one to work, you need an absolute ride or die friend, or at the very least, someone you'd be willing to throw under the bus. Ideally, someone who, without words being exchanged between the two of you, will lie to the police in your favor. So basically, you're in the hot seat, and immediately, as soon as you see Chris Hansen, you start the lie. Oh, I see what's going on here. Look, I'm really sorry. You see, my friend, he's got this sick, fucked up sense of humor, and he set me on this blind date. He didn't tell me she was underage. Look, whatever I say in this chat log, that's him. He's done similar things before. Like one time he tried to trick me into saying the N-word in front of a Black Lives Matter rally. Just call him and he'll back me up. Here's my number. His number. At which point your friend needs to take over, and you gotta hope the conversation goes like this. Hey, is this Nico, owner of the Mad World Studios YouTube channel?
Yes.
This is the police. Did you set up a fake profile for your friend and set him up on a blind date with a 15-year-old girl?
Absolutely.
Checks out. Boom! You both get a slap on the wrist and you're set free!
I love little girls, they...
Alright, well, that was my video on how to beat To Catch a Predator. Engagement check. Do you know of a method that I didn't mention? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, unless, of course, this video seriously blows up, so I'll be sure to read what you have to say. Normally, I have a big paragraph at the end of the video that details my overall thoughts in a well-articulated manner, but for this one, I got nothing. I mean, what else do you want me to say here? I can't be expected to have a message in every video. I'm working on this video simultaneously with other projects. I'm strapped for time. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next week. I gotta watch some anime for a future upload. See ya.
I knew your bitch ass was a pedophile.
Oh, god damn it!
It's Dity, bitch! And you know we run the city, bitch!